the main topic of discussion nowadays, especially after the Stefon Diggs trade went down, is are the Buffalo Bills screwed in the upcoming season? Well, you can argue that they could be, given how much players they have given up in free agency, but I don't really believe that. But let's just talk about it real quick. What's up, guys? Welcome back to So Back Sports, and I'm so back with another video. And this is more of a chill kind of video where it's like I want to talk about certain things I've seen online, and I just want to make sure like my opinion's been voiced and kind of give my perspective on it. So for the most part, the Buffalo Bills have given up a lot of their defensive pieces. And given that, Stefon Diggs was a big cornerstone at the time when they got him from the Minnesota Vikings, it would seem that he was the future wide receiver one for Josh Allen. And oh boy, it did help him because he was able to go far. But the question is, now that Stefon Diggs is no longer on the team and is now on the Houston Texans, does that mean that the Josh Allen in general does not have a wide receiver one? And does that mean that he is going to be held back by his offense? Which some you can argue, yeah, but given that Stefon Diggs wasn't really like he was a wide receiver one, don't get me wrong, but in the grand scheme of things, I feel like they have enough weapons at their disposal to be a solid offense going forward. Probably they'll address a wide receiver in the draft going forward, but I don't think that this is something that they should continue to worry about. I don't think that the Buffalo Bills got on this trade and was like, "Oh no, we don't have a wide receiver and we're kind of screwed. We just have to," because I feel like this move was kind of necessary for the health of the team and the locker room because, given that Stefon Diggs complains like a lot, especially if he doesn't get enough catches or touches in the game, like it gotten to the point where even the front office is probably like, "Okay, let's cut our losses right now." And I know it's going to be a huge cap hit, but we got to make a move so that we can move on from this because this is not a wide receiver that has shown up in big moments. And, especially given that we have Dalton Kincaid, who is a rookie that has shown a lot of promise. It could be like a Travis Kelsey for Josh Allen going forward. Because think about it. Mahomes didn't necessarily have a wide receiver one after Tyreek Hill departed. He really was playing with like wide receiver two caliber players like Juju Smith-Schuster, and in this recent instance, it was Rashee Rice who was his number one target as a rookie. So, but I'm not saying they're apples to apples and comparing the Bills and the Chiefs, but you got to keep in mind that like the NFL works in weird ways, and you're not necessarily stuck with an option of you need a top 10 wide receiver to be successful. Josh Allen has all the talent in the world right now where he can make a difference with not only his legs but his arm talent. While he does throw a lot of interceptions, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's not going to be like effective going forward because if you saw that game against the Chiefs, Allen did everything in his power for the most part where to put them in a good position to win that game and even in field goal range too. Like if it weren't for Stefon Diggs dropping that pass, we would have had a completely different conversation going forward because that was a huge big play and time after time like Stefon Diggs hasn't shown up in games. And to say that Stefon Diggs essentially Josh Allen needs Stefon Diggs in order to be successful is completely wrong because there are moments where even Stefon Diggs wasn't even the wide receiver three in the game or like the receiving option number three. Like you gotta think in that angle where if he's not the wide receiver one, then and if other players around him are still able to help Josh Allen win games, doesn't that mean that Stefon Diggs isn't like necessarily a need for Josh Allen? We got to think about that too. I'm not saying trying to degrade Stefon Diggs for what he's done. He's a great caliber wide receiver, but it's gotten to the point where his ego has gone over his head, and the fact that things don't work out and he all of a sudden decides that it's everyone else's fault but his is kind of like a red flag in general. And the thing is, the Texans have taken his contract and negated 3 years or whatever, and he's poised for an extension. And thing is, Stefon Diggs is also 31 years old, so and they got a second round pick the Bills I'm talking about got a second round pick in 2025 for him. So going forward, I think the Bills aren't screwed. I don't think that, necessarily in that sense, especially in the offensive side, because I think they can continue to build on that. And I think they're trying to move in a direction where now it's a focus of the coaching. And is the coaching going to be an issue going forward? Sean McDermott, in my opinion, is going to be on the hot seat for sure going into next season. And if they don't perform, especially in the middle of the season, and they have like a type of season where they drop a bunch of games and sneak their way into the playoffs, like you might be seeing John McDermott being gone next season, or even in the middle of the season. Because if they can fire Ken Dorsey in the middle of the season, I don't think they couldn't fire Sean McDermott in the middle of the season. But yeah, I mean, let me know down in the comments below what you guys think, because I think that this has kind of gone out of proportion. I think people saying that like the Bills are kind of going to be not even playoff contenders is kind of beyond false in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.